What's going on, you guys? KidBehindacamera here, and last night, I did a video about the time Mom met Mel Gibson. And upon putting that video on my Facebook page, it turned into a conversation of people asking me what kind of celebrities have I met. And in response, I told them that I met mostly wrestlers. Now, there are a few other celebrities that I have met, and I'll save those for another video, but the conversation mostly turned into what wrestlers have I met. And seriously, I've got some cool stories from some wrestlers that I've met. I'm not going to tell them all, but I will tell you a couple of them. Starting with the first wrestler that I ever met, The Big Show. Now, when I first met The Big Show, I was like, I don't remember. I think I was about 9 years old, and I went to a WCW event. It was WCW Thunder, and this was back, I think, April 22nd, 1998. And I'm going to look up that date, and if I'm right, I'm going to go apeshit. If I'm wrong, it's saying right now that I'm wrong. So either way, if I'm right, it was around that time. So I got tickets to WCW Thunder, and we get to the arena early because we're told you can meet the wrestlers if you show up early. And lo and behold, about 5 feet away from us is The Big Show, or I should say The Giant, but I'm gonna say The Big Show. And I'm wearing a shirt with the Giant's face on it. Now, it was one of those shirts that they put out where it was black and white and you just saw their face. I actually had the Giant shirt by accident. I ordered Hulk Hogan because I was a big NWOite, and they sent me the wrong shirt. So there was The Big Show, and he was talking to his mom, and I decided I didn't want to see it anymore because there were other wrestlers over there. So I told my cousin Jason, I was like, yo, I'm going to go walk away from you guys. I'm going to go see what's going on over the production trucks, or just to see what else is happening. So I'm walking, and all of a sudden, I happen to run into this woman. And she looks at me and she goes, oh my God, I love your shirt! Paul, you've got to come over here! And suddenly, The Big Show comes walking up. Oh, that's very nice. So Big Show looks at me, he sees my shirt, and all of a sudden, I'm now pulled into the area where all the wrestlers are talking at, and my cousins are looking over, they're going, what? How'd you get back there? Like, I got pulled. I'm like behind a safety rail at this point. So The Big Show, he's looking at me, he's talking to me, you from around here, kid? And turns out he was from around here, and that's why his mom was talking to me in the first place, and that's why she was able to pull me out, and it all just happened to be lucky timing. So it comes time for me to leave. I had worn out my welcome, and my cousins were going, get his autograph. And I go, he doesn't have a pen. And The Big Show takes a marker, and he signs on my chest, and he signs Giant. And he looks at me, and he says, you need to lay out the biscuits, son. Your stomach's poking out. That's right. The first time that I met a wrestler, he called me fat. He said my stomach was poking out and I needed to lay off the biscuits. And I just messed with my glasses when I did that. However, the main reason that I wanted to do this video was to talk about who I think is the coolest wrestler I ever met, bar none. The coolest wrestler that I ever met was Kurt Angle. Monday Night Raw had come to North Charleston. I believe it was the Monday Night Raw that Eric Bischoff got fired at, where he got thrown in the dumpster. And Kurt Angle was there. And before the show, we were all hanging out there waiting to meet the wrestlers. And here comes Kurt Angle. He's on his way to a taxi cab that's waiting in front of the arena for him. And he looked bad. Kurt Angle was limping. He was holding his neck. He was, he was doing something like, oh, he couldn't walk. He looked miserable. And all the fans, except me, because I felt bad for the guy, because Kurt Angle, I must say, has been one of my favorite wrestlers since I was a child. I was always a huge Kurt Angle fan. So all the fans are going, Kurt, come here, Kurt. And he comes, and Kurt comes walking up, and we say, where you going, Kurt? And he looks at us and he says, I'm on my way to the hospital. My neck is killing me. I can't feel my fingers. My feet feel like they're breaking, and I gotta go get checked out. And the first thing that I said was, dude, go to the hospital. Thanks for saying hello to us, and go. But he didn't. Kurt Angle stuck around for about 45 minutes, and he signed every autograph. He took every picture. He smiled at everybody. He answered questions. Meanwhile, this taxi cab is waiting over here the whole time for Kurt to get done with what he's doing for us. There was another group of people in the parking lot over there, and Kurt walks up to them, signs their autographs, takes their photos, answers their questions. There was another group on the other side. He walked over to them, signed their autographs, took their pictures, answered their questions, signed their signs and video games and hats and shirts and action figures, and he just stayed there. And this whole time, the damn taxi cab is waiting to take him to the hospital because he's limping, and you can tell he looks bad. Like, he's holding his neck. Oh, hey, thank you for coming out. And seriously, he didn't have to do any of this. He should have went and got himself taken care of. Instead, because we were there, he signed every autograph. There must have been 400 people out there. And he signed every autograph. He took every picture. It was just something amazing. And I never forgot it. And when he was done, he waved to us. He got into the taxi and he left. And he went to the hospital and he got checked out. People can say a lot of things about Kurt Angle. They can say that, oh, he got arrested for DUI, and oh my God, Kurt Angle wore out his welcome and he tarnished his legacy by going to TNA. But I'll never forget the time that Kurt Angle was on his way to a hospital and he signed our autographs. And he did it with a smile and he was hurt. And I couldn't believe it, and it never left me because that's something that I'll never forget. Kurt Angle being so hurt on his way to a hospital and still taking the time out to talk to a couple of hundred fans who were waiting outside before the show started. Now on the flip side, one that I'll never forget from being such an asshole was Triple H. Now, Raw was in Charleston again, and I was with my nephew, and it started to pour down rain, and we didn't have an umbrella. And we luckily, after about 10 minutes, got to borrow somebody's umbrella because Dad had left and we had no car. Dad dropped us off and we were just chilling in the rain. There was no reports of rain. And suddenly we saw Triple H coming. And his bus was about 20 feet away. It was parked on the inside of the parking lot. And we were watching and he comes up and we're like, Triple H, Triple H. And he looks at us. The only thing he does, he looks at us, get out of the fucking rain. And he got on his bus and he didn't get back off. So that was the time that I almost met Triple H. Almost, because I didn't get to. But I got a lot of stories about wrestlers that I've met. I've met a lot of them. Mick Foley was a cool one. You know, Jeff Hardy. He was interesting. But that story is for another time if you guys are interested in hearing about the times I've met all these other wrestlers. One story that I really want to tell, and hopefully you guys like this so I can tell it, is the time that my friend and my sister's fiance, we all saw Matt Hardy and Ashley Massaro break up. It was crazy. It happened right in front of us. You guys can tweet the story to Matt Hardy just to find out if it's true, because it happened right in front of us and it was nuts. So that's it. Like, subscribe, favorite, and Kurt Angle was the coolest motherfucker that I've ever met, and bar none, just, it was awesome. So thank you, Kurt, for being the coolest fucking wrestler I've ever met.